and Communications, Mohammed Rahman Suari. Well, these and many more stories are coming up shortly, just after our coronavirus preventive message. To ensure to wear your face mask and stay safe. President Bio has acknowledged tribal men and women for their hard work during their tenure and also awarded them with certificates of recognition as they end their tour of duties. The ceremony took place at its house. The headmen and women are elected by their community people after 3 years of providing leadership in their different communities. Hamosri reports.
These men and women during the meeting commended President Bio for his strong leadership since he took up governance in 2018, but especially in fulfilling most of his campaign promises. Minister of Western Region Nabila Tunis disclosed that the meeting with President Bio is to interact and update him about current situations in various communities. She described the meeting as one of the best interventions his ministry has made, calling on tribal head and women to continue working closely with her ministry and local government ministry.
Then we had man there and we had woman then. They don't come today from 12%. We show how eager they are for coming to tea. You don't say when you're anxious for coming to do. As again, you won't say yes, they meet with them. Most of them, they don't call me from day before yesterday, all this time they don't call me. To show the love where they get from me. I want to tell them thank you and to tell them say, we know they forget things. We know say small problem they gave within the communities. And we don't get talk about how we can sit down together and look into the problem there. How we can sit down together, some of the things the way they don't do. We know to write thing, how we were able to adjust things there, but then we will do something we will better everybody.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Malamina, said President Bio made a promise for local communities and has fulfilled it by setting up the Western Region Office to interact and connect communities in the Western Rural. The minister reiterated that the local headmen and women served for 3 years in their different communities and stating their end of term in office, adding that his office is now working collaboratively with the National Electoral Commission to conduct other elections for other citizens vying for the position.
The new local government decentralization policy recognizes the role of village heads. I want to also say, all of them they go on. Of course, the village heads count on the Legitimacy Act review. Now we will try to develop the structures where the kind of recognition that wants now under that we hope say it will come.
The establishment of the Ministry of Western Region is to connect with local authority to provide development for their communities, as every citizen should have their share.
If we really want to care for the many thousands of people who live in the freedom here and beyond the hills there, we have the responsibility as a government. Now, Buna will get control too. We're not going to just talk to the Monday when election time comes. We know for just talk now. We come to this country. We need to work together for more making. Like how some people say, why are pushing education business? Because education, you don't agree with people see the way we make it also. From here, they go reach out to the Mateko Kukola. all man they get them. You don't know who side the party come out. We get for land the book stronger one. We go for make this country better. We millions the benefit of this book and blessing. That I make an appeal to all. We make sure say we begin a good school. Not to for mother view, not to government with itself. They struggle the one that they go through. If we not begin and succeed, then we'll make sure say some of them not go die in poverty.
The certificate the president disclosed is to acknowledge and recognize the important work they have been doing in their communities and to deepen and strengthening the long-existing relationship. It told them that the ministries of lands and local government and rural development would continue to work with them and also looked into their concerns highlighted during the meeting, especially in the area of land, sand mining, fishing, and environmental problems.
Development now for take the thing that we can make when I move when I begin it. We not necessarily move for Canada. Like when I talk about health, we need for take the one and the closer to one. So pass something really stronger. Now you could say when I call ambulance, no good freedom. So I don't listen to always when I say. And I'm glad when I'm multi commot and we don't know everything. We not kind of for can with yourself talk and talk and talk. Now to make it come up from when this is not the beginning of a relationship, of a conversation. We get for benefit the Western area. The appointment of the Home Minister where he on yes not to no day. Now the beginning for make sure say what it are because historical injustices there make we solve them.
The headmen and women present in the meeting commended President Bio for organizing such forum as it is in the right direction. Headman Isaac Peters said the establishment of the Western Region Ministry is a big help for them, thanking President Bio for the great gesture that will allow them to relate and reach out as well. He appealed for more electricity, hospital, water supply in their communities.
His Excellency, you give them, don't already they come to now the country. You say you want to see the next coming years then. All the beginning of this country forget education at the end. And indeed, we don't expect you to do the end education. Thank you for that, sir. But we said, we just want this in mind, say, another one and they what we don't go power to that day. They said, they want something at the country. But who can get them training centers then? They said they will do something on their own. We see young people then they make cutlass and they make sticks or they make chairs on their own. Not to pass, we all don't go in our offices then. But if you then go and training centers there, we get vocational training centers then. But then people there, they said there will be important and communities then. His Excellency, we already get the solar garden. We know the benefits. We right now na Koya. We they don't plant for quite a long time. We be expected there while they are now. We for share light bill na same for Koya. But believe me, look at Zimbabwe right now. We don't know what they do there. People they not actify. They pull them down na low. So we dey papa. Let him send him next day. So that light they go benefit between Koya and even take to the petitioner.
The outcome of the meeting with headmen and women was an important one for them as this is the first time since their elections they met with the president. SABC TV News Eye in Freetown, how must we reporting?
Parliament has committed the Tobacco and Nicotine Control Bill 2021 to the Legislative Committee for further consideration. The bill seeks to regulate the smoking, importation and advertisement of cigarettes and nicotine products in the country. While a parliamentary correspondent, Joseph Rain, has more on this.
Honorable members, because of the serious nature of this bill, and we have to do while the consultation, Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be committed to the Legislative Committee.
The committal of the Tobacco and Nicotine Control Bill 2021 to the Legislative Committee for further consideration came at a time when lawmakers had re-echoed the importance of the bill to save lives from diseases associated to cigarette smoking. Submissions by members of parliament revealed that over 4,000 citizens of Sierra Leone die of tobacco and nicotine-related cases annually.
Globally, tobacco kills up to half of its users worldwide, and around 6 million people are killed each year by tobacco use. If you go into it deeply, 5 million of those deaths are as a result of direct use of tobacco.
Other MPs, even across party lines, were concerned over the negative effects of tobacco and nicotine on the health of people.
We all know the negative impact cigarettes does on the lives of the ordinary people, especially teenagers. And this is the very reason why I decided to support this bill, because our role as members of parliament is to protect the lives and properties of our people. And if this bill that is before us seeks to promote public health safety by regulating smoking in public places, by regulating advertisements, deceitful advertisements that will lure our young generation, our young people into smoking, I think it is important to put this law so that we regulate those advertisements.
The Ebola crisis, we lost around 4,100 people, and just a year from cigarette smoking, we are losing 4,000 a year. Is a disaster for us. So as Parliament, we think this bill is a very critical bill, and we should do everything possible within our power to make sure we pass this bill. And what we want to add also is the area of popularizing this bill when it's been passed.
People have to be restricted. They should not be allowed to harm others. That's the point. That's why I'm supporting the bill. If people want to smoke, let them hide somewhere where the cigarette smoke will not affect other people. The health is very important. Now we know, as somebody was saying, those who are smokers, I mean, it's apparent. Their ill health is apparent. They cough, they always have a headache, and so many other problems emanating from the smoking of cigarettes.
The Deputy Minister of Health, too, Princess Dugba, while showcasing reasons for such bill to be legislated, noted government loses billions of loans to address sicknesses related to tobacco smoking.
The direct and indirect costs and losses from tobacco use total 404 billion leones. These deaths are preventable if the country adopts a comprehensive tobacco and nicotine control laws that are fully compliant to the WHO FCTC. Adopting the tobacco control law will reduce the prevalence of cigarette smoking by 2/3 over 15 years, reduce disease and death-saving lives, increase workforce productivity, increasing GDP, lead to savings through avoidance of direct medical costs to treat diseases, and ultimately provide total economic benefits of up to 1.9 trillion leones.
It also came out strong that the bill should focus on the rehabilitation of those who would have been addicted to smoking. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
Aggrieved workers of Saratel have gathered in front of the National Commission for Privatization's office at Tower Hill to complain that the top management at Saratel has barred them from being within or around the Saratel headquarters. Let's join Julian Crowe for more.
Almost 1 week since workers at Saratel downed their tools in protest against ill-considered and poor conditions of service.
7 months, 6 months, but not get salary. We suffer some man 8 months. How man can only no more.
Workers have since been barred from coming into or standing in front of the Saratel office at Lightfoot Boston Street.
And the management thought it fit that the way you can get rid of these people is to barricade the head office where the strike was going. So unfortunately, we went there this morning and the whole place was barricaded by policemen, guns in their hands. So it was a surprise to us. Then voiced his anger to the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Congress, Deputy Secretary General, besides Edward Yarime Karamaya. And he told us to forget about that place at this moment and let's proceed to NCP office to have that same hangar.
For years, low-ranked staff at the telecoms network have complained about salary, medical insurance, and oftentimes they have been shunned when opportunities for promotion come up.
For the past several months now, senior staff like us and also the junior staff, we have no salary for the past 7 months. And some of us, few months ago, we formed a delegation at least to go to the MD, explain to him, let him tell us what are the challenges, so that senior staff or intermediate staff will come in and see how best we can rectify this situation at Saratel. But unfortunately, the management didn't give us the expected answer that we want.
As it stands, Saratel is to be privatized, which would mean a facelift for the 31-year-old telecoms network. But the transition is stalling.
With the senior management of Saratel, the top management, for one reason or the other, we don't know why at this particular point they are not cooperative. But the process is in progress, and like I said, we started, and it's a whole lot of processes. We started it in February 2020 with expression of interest, then we moved to the request for proposal stage, after which then we are now in the contract negotiation stage, for which the draft contract has been prepared, and it has been vetted by NPPA, it has been vetted also by the Attorney General's office and the Ministry of Finance, looking at the financial model.
The apportioned time as to when these workers would receive their salaries is still unclear. SLBC Freetown, Julian Koroma.
Meanwhile, Civil Society Consortium on Community Accountability and Service Delivery has called on President Bill to take due consideration before moving the management of Saratel to a private company. This call follows continuous issues and series of strike actions by staff of Saratel over poor management and non-payment of salaries, which has now prompted the National Commission for Privatization to bring the management of Saratel under a private company. CSCC has the details.
Having followed closely the issues at Saratel Telecommunication Company, Civil Society Consortium on Community Accountability and Service Delivery has raised serious concerns about the unhealthy relationship between the staff and management of Saratel due to backlogged salaries, leave allowances, and the recent press release from the National Commission for Privatization stating reasons for their action to privatize the company, among others. The consortium is therefore calling on authorities, including the National Commission for Privatization, Ministry of Information, and the government, to reconsider the concession agreement and to do proper background check on Sentinel Telecommunication Company Limited.
The consortium is calling on National Commission for Privatization, Ministry of Information, and the management of Saratel to help Sierra Leoneans with the following documents. 1. Bid document, prior period of the advertisement. B. Evaluation report. Final report from Procurement Committee of NCP. The draft concession agreement document. The Civil Society Consortium on Service Delivery has over the years observed that a lot of our state-owned companies have been privatized with no due diligence, and today most of those institutions are no more in existence.
Meanwhile, the consortium is also sending strict advice to all staff of Saratel to stop all physical and verbal attack on the leadership and management of Saratel, as the consortium continues to advocate and wait on Parliament and government to critically look into this issue through the technical head of Saratel and his team on independent technical advice from any telecommunication operators before going into any agreement.
We are all in sympathy with you, but let's observe the due process as stated in the Saratel Act and labor law of the state. The consortium wants to inform the staff of Saratel that Sentinel as a company has not been given the sole authority to take over the company until the process, the agreement is ratified by Parliament. As civil society, we are calling on NTP and the management of Saratel to take stock of all assets of the company before going into any agreement.
As a group of civil societies in the country, the consortium, in its bid to ensure proper service delivery, has said if the president and government fails to address this issue, the consortium will stage a 1,000-man march as a peaceful demonstration to show that they mean business and will not relent until the needful is done. SLBC News, Cecilia Cisse.
As a result of the strike action by Saratel and Buluri, which are under the purview of the National Commission for Privatization (NCP), its chairman, Dr. Prince Harden, spoke to Sheikh Somaila on our Good Morning program on the fate of the two companies and the workers.
Saratel, at this moment, is in a comatose stage, and we need to revive it. We have left it over the years with disunited or fractured policies with regards to privatization, and this is what has landed us in this position. Saratel cannot feed itself at this moment. There's management problems, seriously. They are in the tune of about 411 billion in debt, taxes, etc. Employees problems.
That was Dr. Prince Harden, Chairman, National Commission for Privatization. Parliament has sworn in two newly elected members of Parliament following their victory in the recent by-elections conducted in Putloko and Kailao district. The newly elected members of Parliament, Honorable Rosalind Siafa of SLPP, representing the constituency 005 Kailao district, and Honorable Isa Oye Kuruma of APC, representing the constituency 073. The current Parliament now has SLPP with 58 seats, APC 58 seats, C4C 8, NGC 4, Independent Candidate 3, and 1 vacant seat in Tonkolili district. We bring you extract of the oath-taking ceremony in Parliament.
I, Rosalind Siafa,
having been elected a member of Parliament, do hereby in the name of God swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Sierra Leone as by law established, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Sierra Leone, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament. So help me God.
I, Isa Oye Kuruma,
having been elected a member of Parliament,
do hereby do hereby,
in the name of God swear,
in the name of God swear,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Sierra Leone, as by law established, that I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Sierra Leone, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament.
The duty of member of the Parliament.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Today dates are the 5th April 2022. 4th month. Yeah, 4th.
That was the swearing-in ceremony taken from the two newly elected members of Parliament. You watch news are coming to you live from the Saratel Broadcasting Corporation in Freetown. Government and donor-funded policies, projects and programs sometimes appear to be white elephant because of poor monitoring and evaluation mechanisms. In response to that, the National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate, NAMED, has engaged representatives of civil society organizations in order for them to collaborate in monitoring and evaluating government and donor-funded policies, projects and programs. Our reporter Mohamed Kuruma was there.
Lack of proper monitoring and evaluation of donors and government-funded projects, policies and programs across the public sector has been a root cause for lack of accountability, transparency and corruption. Such funded policies, projects and programs of government and donor partners usually tend not to yield the desired outcomes because of ill monitoring and evaluation strategies. This consultative meeting between the National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate NAMED and representatives of civil society organizations was an attempt to collaborate and share ideas on how to effectively monitor and evaluate how government and donor funds are utilized on policies, programs and projects.
NAMED is looking at this: how do we change the lives of the people of Sierra Leone for the better? And one way to do that is to see that projects that government and donors are supporting do reach these people. They are fully monitored. But if you give a time frame for 6 months, do it for 6 months or small deviation. Don't do a 6-month project for 2-3 years. It's disturbing lifestyles and it's disturbing people.
Representatives from civil society organizations gave their various perspectives on effective monitoring and evaluation strategies. Amongst the many was the Executive Director of Network Movement for Justice and Development, Abu Brahima.
We, in partnership with other actors, with other agencies like civil society, is clearly one way by which we can minimize the extent to which corruption, can grow, or the extent to which, people can do away with things with impunity. I think the question is, we want resources to be plowed to communities and let communities use it to benefit their lives.
A society where government functionaries are held accountable for their stewardship is an example of a society where a healthy democracy thrives. Mohamed Kouma reporting.
The Ministry of Technical and Higher Education signed the agreement for the disbursement of the second phase of the Skills Development Fund to 84 entrepreneurs to support new and existing businesses. The Skills Development Fund is part of the government's strategy to support the middle manpower of Sierra Leone's population. Daphne Macaulay reports.
The Skills Development Fund is part of the government's strategy to support the middle manpower of Sierra Leone's population. About 84 young entrepreneurs are to benefit from this second phase of the project to empower young businesses. Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Professor Abatijan Rui, said the government requested the World Bank for a grant of about $20 million to support emerging businesses in the country.
Businesses in construction, in agriculture, in hospitality, in mining, businesses, such that you can now partner along the way with training institutions so we get young people absorbed. You know, we tend to believe that it's only those that access universities that can be productive. What we are trying for you to know is that along the value chain, we require people to serve at various layers.
The minister added that the dispensation of the funds, businesses would be monitored to see progress made and for sustainability. Peter Kaindane is the assignment manager of the Skills Development Fund Secretariat. He said on a regular basis, auditors would be monitoring the affairs of the businesses in all the districts in the country.
We have had 63 grantees on board for the first round of calls, and right now, today we are signing with another 84. This means we have a total of 148 grantees. Now, grantees are people that applied for this funding. They've included government technical institutes, they've included all our government TVET institutions, as well as private TVET institutions. But this second round is mainly for the private sector. And the emphasis here is to provide funds to the private sector so that they can improve their businesses and be in the position to employ more people.
Team Lead Project Fiduciary Management Unit, Alpha Ibrahim Sise, said all the 84 entrepreneurs for this phase are eligible for the grant and that more grants will be awarded to entrepreneurs. Hence, this project is successful. The Skills Development Fund, which is about $20 million, is expected to nurture new entrepreneurs and help them develop and sustain their businesses with business ideas. These entrepreneurs from across the country are expected to use the grant judiciously to alleviate poverty. For SLBC News, Daphne Kima-Macaulay reporting.
Aid workers of the COVID-19 response have called on President Bio to swiftly look into the situation as they have gone for over 6 months without their risk allowances. The workers, who comprised core and support staff in the response team, told a news conference that they have endured 7 months from July 2021 to February 2022 without their risk allowances. They are also claiming that NACOVAC is withholding the remaining backlogs, while a good number of them have been laid off. One of NACOVAC aggrieved workers, Mambu Bakana Sharif, read the press statement on behalf of his colleagues.
Aggrieved COVID-19 response workers on the constant delayed, in fact I am going to change this delay to constant non-payment of risk allowances to core and support staffs nationwide by NACOVAC. The President, as part of his determination, appointed the NACOVAC leadership and core staff, who later recruited support staff to work in the response to prevent, protect, and curtail the spread of the disease in the country since April 2020. We call you to this press conference to draw your attention to the inhuman and maladministration being meted on us by the leadership of NACOVAC and its constant delayed payment of our risk allowances for 6 to 7 months. As a team, we have tried all redress mechanisms to institutional approach rather than staging public demonstration or protest, which in our view may undermine the good reputation of the new dispensation. We would also like to bring to the attention of the media and civil societies that all district coordinators and presidential task force officers have been getting their risk allowances up to date without delay, while ours, the core staff and support staffs, have been withheld for unexplainable reason, which is not only discriminatory but a violation of our rights. This has brought a feeling of marginalization, especially when those who should be prioritizing our welfare have now become advocates for their benefits. No one has engaged us on the issue, at least to clarify why the situation remains unaddressed. Moreover, we are very much aware of a massive and pending right-sizing of the workforce within the response as part of the government commitment to justify value for money and purpose for national development. But it remains obvious that every contract should have a termination notice in writing, and this has not been done by the leadership of either NACUVA or DICUVAs across the country. Yet we are doing the needful day in and day out in our respective assignment locations nationwide. Members of the press and civil societies, we want you to note that since July 2021, 1 month risk allowance was paid in December 2021 and another 1 month in February 2022. Nothing has been paid to us since then. In addition, we are also aware that terminating someone's contract upon expiration means you must be in preparedness to pay all their backlogs, and as it is, and therefore we are honestly concerned as a group. It is on this basis that we deem it prudent to draw such worrisome concern to the attention of the media and civil societies. We should also like to inform you, the media and civil society, that these are legitimate concerns, as every aggrieved response worker from court to support staff have contractual documents to justify these payment claims, and these documents would be made available should the need arise by the media and civil society. Finally, reverting to channeling our legitimate concern through the media and civil society is considered our last resort to this stage. Therefore, we are kindly appealing to authorities concerned to urgently help in triggering the full payment of our allowances, as our survival and family responsibilities are at stake.
This is News Hour live on the SLBC TV in Freetown. The president of the Sierra Leone Dock Workers Union has expressed that if their end of service payment is not made to them in the shortest possible time, they will continue to lay down tools. He made the statement to the SLBC during a peaceful protest at the Leone Transport and Logistics Freetown Terminal Port to demand payment of their end of service benefit, among other requests. Dennis Fraser has more on this.
At the very start of the week, in the morning hours, the Leone Transport and Logistics Freetown Terminal Port was closed down to normal business activities. Both gates leading to the port were closed to trailers coming in or going out, with operational equipment and offices all closed to the public. Leone Transport and Logistics Sierra Leone started as the Sierra Leone Shipping Agency, which won the international tender launched by the government in March 2011 to operate part of Queen Elizabeth II ports. However, a transition process started in August last year that saw the sale of the company over to a Mediterranean shipping company.
Normally, as you can see behind me, these machines powered by workers here could be with loud noise and people are actively working. But today, as you can see, the machines are up, tools are down, staff are not working. They are on the protest, demanding for their end of service payments.
According to staff here, including their union executives, nothing was communicated to them with regards the transition on their end or service arrangements. Because of this, they resorted to a peaceful protest to call on the attention of the authorities.
It might not be even get to them. They say now later now they can't get understanding, say they don't sell the company to another company.
According to the union, they told us that throughout the transition process, management did not reach out to them. They only got to know that later the employees have been sold to another company. If that is the case, then it is an affront to the union and to us as workers. So that is why we staged this peaceful protest, for them to tell us when they will pay us our money.
You not work for you for 11 years and you don't sell the company, you not pay them off. You don't work for 11 years.
We have worked for 11 years and all we are asking for is our end of service benefits. We are not particular about who is in charge of management currently. We have served the previous company and so we deserve to have our money. Can you imagine that a senior staff like me, I am paid 2,500,000, which is not even enough to take care of me and my family compared to the kind of work I do.
Added to these concerns, workers complained of degrading conditions of service and deployable conditions of their staff waiting center. According to them, they work up to 12 hours a day, loading and offloading 100 to 200 containers from different parts of the world. After several hours of contentions, management quickly called on the union to a closed-door meeting where they reached an agreement that they will address the concern over end of service benefits after consulting with their lawyers. But this arrangement was received with a hostile response from workers.
Today, Freetown Terminal is still doing well, but you have decided to go on another way, because maybe some information that I gave were not properly understood. So again, I reiterate in front of you, everybody, nothing is changing. The company will continue. MSC is taking over a group of companies called Robbery Africa Logistics.
If this situation is not addressed as early as possible to allow workers to return to work, it will continue to negatively impact the economy of the country. SABC News Dennis Fraser reporting.
Robbery seems to be on the increase and is being committed mostly by young people. On several occasions, people have lost their property, money, sustained severe injury, while some lost their life during a robbery. A recent case is one involving a senior practicing lawyer, Musa Payose, where he explained his motive during the time he was robbed and stabbed by 3 alleged armed robbers, Mohammed Lamin Sise, Amara Sise, and Doris Toka. Aminash Ibrahim reports.
The 3 alleged armed robbers made their second appearance before Magistrate Makigegba of Panemba Road Court No. 2 on 3 counts charge of conspiracy to commit a crime and 2 counts of robbery with aggravation. According to allegation, Mohammed Lamin Sise, Amara Sise, and Doris Toka on Tuesday, 22nd March 2022 at Barrick Street, armed with knife, robbed lawyer Musa Payose Sise of one pink color blue smart mobile phone valued at 6,500,000 belonging to his clerk Samuel Conte. They also robbed the said clerk Samuel Conte of his black Techno Spark 2 mobile phone valued at 2,500,000 leons. Led in evidence by Assistant Superintendent of Police Hawaba, prosecution witness 1, lawyer Musa Payose Sise Sr. recognized Mohammed Lamin Sise, Amara Sise, and Doris Toka as the people who robbed him. He recalled the incident which happened when he and his clerk were attacked along Barwick Street on their way back to his office. They saw a large crowd coming towards them holding stones and weapons. The group, according to him, have over 30 people including 2 females. And the first, second and third accused persons, Mohamed Lamin Sise, Amara Sise and Doris Toka, attacked him and snatched his mobile phone, while the first accused, Mohamed Lamin Sise, stabbed him on his left hand. But he said they later absconded upon seeing blood oozing from his hand. Lawyer Pius Sise said they were able to apprehend the third accused, Doris Toka, who led them to the others who were arrested and taken to the Adelaide Street police station. Statement was obtained from him and was issued with a police medical form. Magistrate Mark Geba refused granting bail to the 3 accused persons, Mohamed Lamin Sise, Amara Sise and Doris Toka. The matter was adjourned to Monday, 11th April 2022. SLBC News, Amina Shniande Brahma.
In a bid to improve the livelihood of young people in Sierra Leone, the Ministry of Youth Affairs has donated 1 car washing machine and 1 500-litre tank to car wash youth in building in Freetown. Cecilia Sise has the details.
Young people make up 1/3 of the total population in Sierra Leone, making them substantial and vulnerable at the same time. According to the International Labour Organization, 10.4% of youths in Sierra Leone are unemployed. This has over the years been a cause behind the increase of youth crime rates in the country and the decrease in economic development. Now, to change the narratives of an idle mind as the devil's workshop, the Ministry of Youth Affairs provided 11 car wash centers for youths across Freetown and now has supported the UU building car wash youths with more equipment.
Is that because they have proven that they are responsible and disciplined, they have kept the place clean, and there have been no record of crime reported among themselves. So that is why we thought it fit in regard to committing themselves and being disciplined and responsible. That is why today we have donated 10,000 miller tank and 1 washing machine.
This is not the first time the ministry is engaging in such a venture and is currently planning to establish more car wash centers in other regions in the country. The young men at the car wash center appreciated the government for having them at heart. They promised to take good care of the equipment and to use them for the right purposes.
Government, plenty thank you.
Thank the government. This has never happened in our car wash center. For many years, we have been striving to get such opportunity, but God has blessed us through the ministry. So we say a big thank you to the government.
So we tell them plenty thank you for the organization.
Young people have a powerful potential to bring change and to promote development. For many youths, car washing is an entry point to the path of development. Hence, it is but prudent that society provides necessary support to motivate and direct youths in a positive direction. SLBC News are Cecilia Sise.
You're watching news coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation in Freetown. Coming up next is entertainment.
Welcome to Entertainment News. I am Maria Tudukuri. In this edition of Entertainment News, comedy shows on the rise and Laugh and Jam with Kindo Amani is one of the big anticipations. Kindo is one of the few successful comedians in Sierra Leone. For years now, he has been hosting his Laugh and Jam with Kindo show, with eye-catching catchphrases that are now in common use. This year's catchphrase is Make Ilef Ya. For a long time now, Kindo Amani has been hosting these shows. He says that he is the first comedian to be hosting a comedy show, not just in Freetown, but also will be taking it to Bow City.
So I'll be going to Bow City on the 14th of May, a week after the previous event. So the 6th of May is in Freetown, Bintumani Auditorium. The 13th of May in Bo City, and it's around Bo City Plaza. So the prices for the events, yeah, for the sake of my people, I have 150,000 Leones. Very few tickets. So I have 300,000 Leones, I have 500,000 Leones, I have the table. The table of 8 comprises the table of 8, which is 10 million Leones. Table of 4 is 5 million Leones. Those are the corporate tables. You know, those are the people, if we want to crack joke, we consult them. We ask them if they are satisfied. In fact, we will escort them up. We explain the joke better.
Of course, we won't end this interview without an a cappella from the comedian.
I went to this event, yeah, you know, in a funeral ceremony. And unfortunately, this lady, they cry bad one. I know all man, they say, Osh, don't cry, all man don't gaze, they tell her, Osh, find the Osh now, they agree Osh, Osh, they agree Osh. And one guy can't tell her Osh. The guy we can't tell her Osh, there is a difference between armpit and kaput. The guy in armpit, of course, we know what he did. Now the other lady close. You sabi when they tell you Osh, when they go you close, the lady they cry, they sob, they I think I go all the atmosphere. I lady now Osh. The guy still all out. I don't Osh. Say I don't Osh. Oh God, I don't Osh. You want to kill me now? You want to die? Go meet me, mama. So you take Osh. I do. I would look for that. That's sorry for we. That crab.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, comedy shows are indeed on the rise. Comedy shows are trending, and these shows are sold out. From February to March in this 2022, we saw comedy shows like Laugh for Love with Desmond Benia in February, Laugh Out Loud with comedian Faculty in March, Laugh Overdose Reloaded with Ogawa, and we are waiting for another mouth-watering shows, The Laugh and Jam with Kindo Amani, and Life No One's Yaba with Richie Obama in May. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. That's all we have in this edition of Entertainment News. I have been Maria Tudukwe. Thanks for watching once again, and please keep watching BSLBC.
Well, that's all from the entertainment desk. Coming up next is sports. Let's see what awaits us from the sports desk.
Welcome to the updates that keeps you in the know. I am Abdul Kabir. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up in this edition, Minister of Sports speaks on the International Day of Sport for Peace and Development. And also in this program, we'll bring you preview and review of Champions League matches as top teams battle to reach the last 4. Now, the International Day of Peace for Development and Sport is celebrated every year on the 6th of April as a way to reflect on how sports and Olympic Games have brought people together throughout the years by building bridges and promoting peace. In Sierra Leone, sport is perceived as a unifying force. Minister of Sport Ibrahim Yelenke speaks to the 2022 theme, which is securing a sustainable and peaceful future for all in a bid to improve sports the world over. He speaks to SLBC.
The 6th of April each year is declared as the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace by the United Nations. This annual event presents an opportunity to recognize the positive role sport and physical activity play in communities and in people's lives across the globe. Due to its vast reach, unparalleled popularity and foundation of positive values, sport is ideally positioned to contribute towards the United Nations objectives for development and peace. To raise awareness of this potential, the 6th April was declared as the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace by the UN General Assembly. The adoption of this day signifies increasing recognition by the United Nations of the positive influence that sport can have on the advancement of human rights, social and economic development. We are all aware that sport has the power to change the world. It is a fundamental right and a powerful tool to strengthen social ties and promote sustainable development and peace, as well as solidarity and respect for all. In recognition of sport's broadened influence, the global theme of the IDS-TDB 2022 is securing a sustainable and peaceful future for all. The contribution of sport, which creates an opportunity for the day celebration to promote the use of sport as a tool to advance human rights and sustainable development. In Sierra Leone, as in other parts of the world, sport is a cross-cutting issue as it is a broad phenomenon that encompasses diverse types of activities, organization, and participation. It is relevant to the development of challenges in low-income nations and in affluent ones. Sport can be used in development work to advance development objectives, advance youth development, health, gender, equality, goals for education and inclusion, as well as peace and development. It is not a coincidence that the theme chosen for this year's celebration, as I have mentioned before, is securing a sustainable and peace future for all. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone has already been informed that the 6th of April is International Day of Sport, and that he has directed that I deliver a statement to the sport-loving people of Sierra Leone to at least mark the day. The Ministry of Sport allowed to come up with some activities on this auspicious day, but time was not in our favor to do so. In subsequent years, activities in celebration of this day will be factored into our budget within the ministry. Let us use sport to mend fences. Let us use sport to bring people of the Republic of Sierra Leone together. Let us use sport to promote tolerance and inclusion. Let us use sport, above all, stand shoulder to shoulder to further the dreams and aspirations of our motherland, Sierra Leone. I wish you all a happy International Day of Sport.
National scene, Liverpool picked up an impressive 3-1 win against Benfica, while Man City snatched a 1-0 winner against Atletico Madrid. Let's join Babatunde Labin for more.
UEFA Champions League quarterfinals commences. Liverpool have beaten Benfica in a UEFA Champions League Europa Cup match for the first time since October 1984. Having lost their 3 previous meetings before last night without scoring a goal. Benfica are winless in 4 consecutive European matches at home to English side for the first time since March 1984, which includes 2 defeats to Liverpool. Liverpool have won each of their last 8 away games in all competitions, their longest ever such winning one in their history. Manchester City are unbeaten across their last 19 matches at the Etihad Stadium in the UEFA Champions League, winning 17 with 2 draws. Since losing 3 consecutive games there in 2018. It's the longest home undefeated run by an English side in the competition since a 21-game stretch by Chelsea between 2006 and 2009. City have altered Atletico Madrid's 6-game winning run in all competitions, while inflicting their first defeat in 9 matches with 7 wins and a draw before last night's encounter. Tonight's match features Real Madrid and Chelsea. This is the second consecutive season in which Chelsea and Real Madrid have met in the knockout stages of the UEFA Champions League. The Blues could become the first English team to eliminate them from the knockout stages of the competition on multiple occasions, having beaten them 3-1 on aggregate in last season's semi-finals. Since Thomas Tuchel's first UEFA Champions League game in charge of Chelsea in February 2021, the Blues have kept 10 clean sheets in 15 games, the most of any team. They also have the lowest goal conceded per game ratio during this period, with just 7 goals conceded, an average of 0.47 per game. SLBC Sports, Guy Olamin reporting.
Well, Suma, that's your sport, and many thanks for joining us.
Many thanks to you there, Abdul Kabir, for bringing this update on what's going on in the sporting industry. From there, we draw down the curtains of this afternoon edition of the news program. But before we go, a quick recap of the main points. President Bill has acknowledged tribal men and women for their hard work during their tenure and also awarded them with certificates of recognition as they end their tour of duties. Parliament has sworn in 2 newly elected members of Parliament following their victory in the recent by-elections conducted in Putloko and Kailaun district. The newly elected members of Parliament, Rosalind Siafa of SLPP representing constituency 005, Kailaun district, and Honorable Isa Kuroma of APC representing constituency 073. And the Independent Media Commission has presented its strategic vision mandate for 2022 to 2024 to the Minister of Information and Communications, Mohammed Rahman Suari. That's all for this afternoon edition of the news with me, Marie Musuma. Thanks for watching. Do continue to stay with your public broadcaster, the SLBC, if you can. Stay tuned.